We are live. What's up, y'all? Johnny Wiseman with J Weiss Marketing, and this is another episode of The Grit. Today, we're meeting with Dr. Gabor, Dr. Gabor Farkas, and the company is Creekside Integrative Medical Center, and we're going to dive into that into a second. If y'all get any value from this, if you know Dr. Gabor, share this with some of your people out there. Leave a comment. Let us know if you like it. And if you're an aspiring entrepreneur trying to get into the business, hopefully this brings some value to you. So y'all tune on in for the next 30 minutes to an hour. Dr. Gabor, how's it going, brother?
Awesome. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, bro. We go back.
Yes.
We go back real far. What, about 20 years now?
I think so.
Fuck.
Yeah. 20 years.
We're getting old.
Totally.
At least you're still looking good. You're looking the same.
Trying.
All ripped up and doing all these fitness competitions.
Yes,
I see
sir.
your wife getting into
Yeah.
it. You used to compete back in the day, or is this something new you're doing?
That was my first show for me. My wife used to about 13 years ago, and she actually has a show coming up in 2.5 weeks now. So
I see y'all doing
after I did mine, I kind of pushed her to say, "Hey, let's just jump back in it." And so she's going to do a show here in a couple weeks.
What was the show you were just in?
The Storm Classic. It was in Texas City. It was through the Global Bodybuilding Organization.
And I heard you took the whole show.
I did. It was a very humbling experience. I took Masters 40 to 49, the Open Class C for my height, and then the overall Open, and that's where I received my pro card.
That's gangster.
Yeah.
You killed it.
It was a lot of work with the business, the family, and just going in and giving it my best.
I mean, I'm just now trying to get back into the gym, and I'm having to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning just so I can go work out for a regular day starts.
Exactly.
And only doing it a couple days a week. I don't even want to try to compare my workouts to yours. I can't even imagine. But owning a business, being a parent, being married, running multiple companies.
Yeah. And
hitting the gym and training for a competition and a win.
Yeah.
And we won't say what age, but 40 to 49, you killed it first place.
Yeah, it's so the majority of the time I would wake up at 3:06 a.m. and in the gym at 4.
Why 3:06?
That's just
not 3 o'clock, just
not
3:06.
3:06.
All right, cool.
That's the time in my head. So 4 a.m. and then do the workout, come home, cook breakfast for the kids, iron their clothes, take them to school, go right to the office.
What time are you at the office by?
At the office by 8, start seeing patients by 9.
There you go. And then how late do you work?
Till 6.
Every day? 5 days a week?
Yeah, some days are a little bit, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Tuesday, Thursdays are a little different, a little bit more leeway room.
I feel you. Well, let's get back. Let's go. I know you're with Creekside. Mm-hmm. That's your practice. Let's go ahead and take it all the way back, as far back as we can go, because you've been Dr. Gabor to me for 20 years that I've known you.
Totally.
And you've always been in chiropractic health. And what was it? That was 20 years ago. So you've been doing this a long time. So let's go all the way back, and let's talk about how you got into the business, when it was you decided this is what you wanted to do, because you've been doing it forever. So let's go back to square one. When was it that you decided you wanted to get into this?
So when I was actually in high school, I got I had hurt in sports. I went and saw my medical doctor, referred me to a chiropractor, and that just kind of changed my life. I had asthma at the time, and he didn't make any claims like, oh, this is, if we do chiropractic adjustments, it's going to help you. But I just started seeing that my health was getting better, my asthma wasn't as bad, and I started performing better in sports.
How old were you?
15, 16 at the time.
And what sports were you in?
I would do baseball outside of high school, football, cross country, track, and then pole vault was my big event that I did.
So you're just an athlete all around.
Yeah.
So what kind of injury did you have that made you go see a chiropractor?
Well, besides all the other injuries, it was a lower back injury, and I couldn't really move or do anything. And he fixed me up and started doing great. And I knew at that time that was it. So I graduated high school.
And that's what you wanted to do?
That was it.
So immediately out of high school, did you go to college specifically for that?
I did. I went down to Life University in Marietta, Georgia, right outside Atlanta, and I started my undergraduate program there.
And so you can go to school specifically for that. What kind of courses did you take to get into the chiropractic health? Did you have to take your basics and regulars?
Yeah, your basics and all that, and then you go into the chiropractic program and
How long did you go to school for? How long did it take to get that degree, roughly?
About 8 years.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
It's a long time.
How long did you stay in Maryland?
Well, Delaware. So I'm from Delaware, and then I went to Atlanta. So I stayed there, and then I started the chiropractic program in, I can't even remember. That school lost its accreditation, and then I transferred down to Texas here in Pasadena. And then I ended up taking 3 years off of school, was living in LA with some friends that were in chiropractic college, and I just needed a break from everything, just to clear my mind and just relax, and so I did that.
Gotcha.
And then I came back, and that's when
Well, going back to, you said Delaware is where the school lost their accreditation?
in Atlanta,
You
Marietta.
went Delaware and then to Atlanta. So in Atlanta, when they lost their accreditation, how long had you been going there?
From 98 to 2002.
So 4 years, 5 years.
So yeah, I
3
just
years.
started the chiropractic degree portion of it.
Did you get to keep any of those credits?
All the credits were good.
So the school just goes away, but you
the
get
school, yeah.
you got to keep-
It's back to being the number one school and the largest school now, but they just had to make some changes.
They had some issues.
Yeah, they had some issues and needed to make
But it didn't affect you.
It didn't affect
Luckily.
me. No.
Okay, cool.
So, a lot of us dispersed out the whole country, going different chiropractic colleges. So I transferred down to Texas Chiropractic College. And
Before that, though, where'd you go? You took a couple years off. You went and played for a couple
I
years.
did. I went out to Los Angeles. I was living with some friends that were
Well, shit, there you
in
go.
chiropractic college out there.
Let's
but
go
I was
party
just,
in L.A. for 3 years.
That's it. Man. I was just relaxing, taking time off, clearing
you
the
bust
mind.
your ass. You go to school. You get out of school, high school, go straight to college, bust your ass for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, and I'm a firm believer, and it's like, people say, oh, you got to finish it this time, you got to finish it that time. I'm like, for what? I'm like, no one's going to pay my bills, no one's going to do it. I mean,
Shit.
it doesn't matter. So do whatever you need to do, just have a goal. So if I took 2 years off or 3 years off, just go back and finish it. Set a goal and do it. And that's what I did.
I always said that about high school because I felt, I don't know what I was thinking, but actually I do know what I was thinking. I dropped out of high school at the age of 16, 17 when I was a senior. I won't tell the story now, but I always said if I need it, I will go back.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I haven't needed to, so here we are.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't get the college years to have those stories, but
Yeah.
I think I made up some of my own stories along the way.
Exactly.
So you're in LA for a couple years, hanging out, enjoying some time off. You come back to Tejas, and you get back into school for that.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to school at?
Texas Chiropractic College in Pasadena.
Okay. And how long were you there? Did it take to
I
get your degree?
I finished in 2008.
Okay.
graduated.
So 2008 rolls around. What do you do then? It's like, all right, cool. Now I've got this thing that says I'm a chiropractor. Now what?
Yeah. So I was working with a doc for like a year, a little over a year and a half.
How'd that relationship start? How'd you get into there with the doc? Because a lot of people that go to school to, whatever practice, they want to, we're just talking about it before the cameras went on. A lot of people think just because you build it, they will come, or just because you get a degree means business is going to start coming in the door, or you go buy this equipment and all of a sudden, boom, you got business. That's not real life. Shit doesn't happen that way.
It doesn't.
So what was the process? It's like, okay, you went to school for 8 years to get this degree so you can start doing chiropractic health. It's been a lifelong dream of yours. You finally get there. You got this diploma, and it's like, what's next? How do you... it's got to be scary as shit. It's like, all right, I got this. Now it's got to be, let's go make money. Let's start a business. Yeah. What was that process like?
So after I graduated, I was waiting to take the Part 4 boards. And so that's why I needed to work with someone until I could get my license. So got my license, and then he was going to move back to Louisiana. And
who's he? A partner?
The gentleman that I was working for, the doctor.
Okay, so was he a...
He was already established chiropractor.
Okay.
And, I just decided to go partner up with somebody else. There was a opening position that my father-in-law and mother-in-law, one of their friends, knew. And so he had 2 practices, one in Houston, one in Friendswood. And so we partnered up, and we were together for like 10 years. Of course, we'll get into that.
Sure.
But, so I just built it from the ground up, zero money going into it, and just started building clients up, and
So the first guy you were working with, how'd you get in with him? How'd you meet him, or how'd you land that gig?
Oh gosh, I can't even remember. I think it was
add online or through
No,
school
I think it
program?
was through a school program or through a mutual.
Maybe like an intern or something.
Yeah, something like that.
And so you got with him. It didn't work out. So then
It actually worked out good, but he just, he was going to sell his practice. I didn't want to buy it, and just, it ended up working out good for him too, because he stayed in Texas, and it worked out good for me. So everything was good.
cool,
It
win-win.
Win-win.
So you just went your own way, and you partnered up with somebody through a mutual friend, family friend, got with him, and this was what, 2010-ish, 11-ish, somewhere around there?
Yeah, about 2010.
I was just guessing.
Yeah, good guess. About 2009, late 2010. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you partner up with this other guy. He's already practicing. He's got some business flowing.
Yeah.
What was that conversation like, or how does it get? Because I think about bringing on interns or employees or adding integral parts of my team, and I'm not just going to go give somebody half my business or a piece of my business.
Yeah.
So what does that transition look like? How do you go from saying, hey, bring me on your team, to, hey, I want half your business? What was that conversation like, or how did that actually work?
It actually worked, kind of a building process of it. Okay, so XYZ, I don't even remember what it was at the time, but
Did you start as somewhat of
there's a little percentage? I give him a percentage, and then and then as we got growing, it changed, and it's still one of the great relationships. I mean, we still talk all the time. He just practices in Houston now, downtown, in the tunnel system, because he moved to Conroe. So too much going from Conroe to tunnels to Friendswood, just way too much.
Gotcha. When you're a chiropractic or in that business, is it almost like you're a contract worker where you get paid off your patients, that come in and compensate you?
Yeah, so you can either get
So
paid
you're responsible for your income, and any other chiropractors are responsible for their income as well.
So you can either get paid through insurance companies, through if you do auto accidents, or just self-pay cash patients.
Sure.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's pretty much it.
So it's like you're a contractor doing contract labor basically per those employees. Because I'm trying to figure out how y'all come together to run a business together, and it's actually like more you're responsible for your own income and he's responsible for his own income, and then y'all work out some type of percentage share to maybe cover the rent. Or
Yeah, we basically split everything.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Overhead, everything. So that's what we did. But it was a great relationship. We never had a contract. Everything was just straight old school handshake, and which you don't run into that, because everyone else is. There's been some bad ones.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So there's contracts now.
How long were you with him? Or did y'all work together before you moved on? A couple years?
2000, what's today? 2017. So yeah, about 9 years. I don't even know. Yeah, somewhere.
And then, so what happened after that relationship? What'd you do next? Is that where you're at now?
Yeah. So I believe he left in 2017. Of course, you're hit with like, okay, you got to take on everything now. Like, holy shit, like what just happened?
So y'all were working together, running business together, and all of a sudden one day he just comes up and says, yo, I'm out.
Yeah, pretty much. He's like, but you'll be fine. You're already doing good. You already, everything's already clean sailing. And, of course, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. When's the lease? April 1st. I'm like, shit, today's March 13th. I'm like, damn, okay.
So he gets up and leaves, which means your bills, your overhead basically doubles, at least doubles, if not more. And then the lease is almost up at the same time?
Yeah, so I had to sign a new 3-year lease. So
that's a lot of commitment. So how did it feel? First, how did he tell you? Was it just out of the blue, out of nowhere?
Yeah, pretty much. He's like, hey, so
by the way,
I sold my condo on Lake Conroe, and I bought a house. I was like, okay, cool. He's like, so I got to sell my house in Friendswood. I'm like, okay, cool. He's like, and I'm leaving the practice. I'm like, oh shit, okay. Like when?
They just sprinkled that in at the end of it.
Yeah. And so he's like, but everything's good. Just take over everything and you'll be fine. Just keep it going. So
how'd that make you feel? I mean, what was going through your head at that moment?
oh shit, I gotta tell Melody, tell my wife. Everything's cool till you gotta tell the wife. Like,
Yeah.
hey, listen, we're about ready to be cut in half.
Yeah.
Maybe more.
I can't imagine how that felt.
Right. So
Shit.
you know that's. But she's great.
It's always the, oh shit, I got to tell her. But then at the same time, it's like, I can't wait to tell her because she's going to help me figure out how to get out of it.
Exactly.
Melody's a strong ass woman.
She is.
She's a beast.
Yeah.
I've seen her. I've known her well for a long time.
Yeah.
Y'all are a great couple together.
Thank you.
I love you guys.
Thank you.
Hi, Melody. What's up? You're going to have to get your ass in here too after your next competition. We're bringing you in.
Deal.
So the doctor ends up bouncing out.
Yeah.
Does he move back to Conroe?
Yeah, so he's, well, I think I don't even know if he sold his house or anything like that. But so he had, he was just staying at his office downtown. Right?
Okay.
And so, you know,
So that means you took over the practice.
took over the
100%.
practice, building everything up.
What happened after that?
So, you know, take a couple months to kind of get back on their feet because, you know, you're not expecting to have to take over the overhead.
Yeah,
My
for
kids
sure.
are in private school, so you're like, okay, you worry about that and worry about this. And so everything starts to pick back up, and then that's when Harvey hits. You're like, boom, you get hit
with
again.
the baseball bat.
Hits with a baseball bat.
So just as soon as you get it
Yeah.
self-sufficient again.
Everything gets knocked down again.
Wow.
So,
So what kind of damage did you get from Harvey?
there was some damage in the office. Had to replace some, the floor and different things.
How long did that put you out of business for? Or keep the door shut?
It didn't for a week, but it was just the issues that I had to go through just to rebuild the office with landlord and different things. And
Yeah, I can imagine the headaches.
Yeah.
I dealt with it at one of our locations.
So it was just a lot more headaches to deal with. And so that happens, and then, you're building everything back up, and then everything is good. And I had brought on another partner for the medical side, and, that didn't work out at all. So that ended up costing.
How long after the hurricane? How long was that later on down the road?
I don't know. I think maybe about 4 months down the road, 5 months.
So this was Harvey was 17, 18, 17?
18,
So this is 2 years ago, a year or two ago. You go to bring on another partner on the medical side.
Pretty much it was like a scam. It was like,
Really?
well, not a scam, I'd say, but just
Didn't work
a
out.
one way, doing all the work on this side and not. So I had to cut that loose.
So you went to bring somebody on the medical side. You're doing all the work,
Yeah.
pulling all the weight,
Yeah. And
bringing in all the income, cover all the bills.
Yep.
They're dead weight,
Dead weight, yeah.
so you got to cut them.
Yep. Had to cut them.
How long did you put up with that? 4 months?
For about, 3-4 months.
What was that like?
A headache.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
I mean, it's one thing for it to happen in business and shit you got to deal with, but how does that trickle down to the family at home? How does that affect the stress, the shit at home with the family, the kids, the weekend, the coaching? I mean,
Yeah.
did you see it?
It was a little bit, that was really, about $100,000 mistake, and you're like, oh, that's a lot. It's just when you dug yourself out of one, you get into
big
another.
hit.
Like,
Now,
it's a
in
big
your
hit.
situation, and I know it's different for everybody, and there's no right or wrong. Some guys rather keep all that information, and guys or gals, whoever the business owner is, rather keep that to themselves and not really bring that home. Not go home and talk to the wife about it, or not talk to the family about it, and just keep it under wraps. Is that something that you kind of keep to yourself, or is that something
The
you
wife
go
knows
home
everything.
for support?
She knows everything that goes on in the office. She helps out at the office. She's at the office.
That's how it is with my wife as well. So
we're a team. So
it's nice having that support, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah. Without that, where would we be? Huh? So moving forward, so that was a $100,000 hiccup you had about a year and a half ago. What happened after that? So you kicked him to the curb. Was there any legal shit you had to deal with? Contracts, lawyers?
No, it was all.
Well,
we were able to take care of it.
because that can get expensive sometimes.
It can
as
get
well.
expensive,
So what's his name? Should we throw him under the bus?
No, it was a female. It was a female.
I'm just playing.
So you just keep your eye focused and just keep pushing through, and that's what I did, and here I am now. So
There you go.
you just have to keep going.
I mean, that's what
everything in your way.
entrepreneurship is. It's about dealing with the shit as it comes.
Yeah.
The highs, the lows, and there's a ton more lows than there are highs. I tell you, They're, everybody looks at it from the outside, and they don't see the lows. They don't see the $100,000 hits. They don't see the hurricane tearing up your business and the money you have to invest. And so many companies go out of business, during rough times like that.
Yeah.
$100,000 hit will put most people out of business that I know. I don't care how much fucking money you make. $100K hit's a big ass hit, and it's hard to recover and bounce back for that. So at that point, you were more chiropractic. It sounds like you were trying to get into adding some of the medical side to your business. Is that when you found some new partners and decided to go in that direction, or what happened after that?
Yeah. So it was around that time that we had hired another medical doctor, and then, that didn't really work out as well. So it's tough. You have to find the right team.
Sure.
And when you're adding medical services on, or just any services, any partnership, right? Because there's always money involved, and some people want more money than they think
that they're worth.
Or
what they're capable of providing.
Yeah.
And I think that's, that goes along with employees as well. Whether it's an employee, a business partner, an investor, sometimes it is a filling out period. You bring people on, it all sounds great, looks beautiful, looks good on paper, and then they show up, and that's when it's time to work.
Yeah, it's, you have to be willing to grow with the company and say, hey, listen, I might take a little bit less now, but as we grow, okay, the more as we grow.
Sweat equity.
And so when they want more up front, that's when it causes
red flags to go up.
Because you're like, okay, shit, everything's going out the door, nothing's coming in. And so you got to just cut the ties and say, listen, see you later.
So how did that transition from trying a few things out, not working out, to now you have this perfect, happy family at the office with the group that you have now?
Yeah, so I asked my nurse practitioner, I said, we need to make some changes with the medical directorship. Do you know anybody? She's like, actually, I do. So as soon as I talked to our medical director now on the phone, she was up in Dallas, loved everything on the conversation. She came down. It was just perfect.
And just hit it off from there. I love it.
Everything was aligned with, my goals and her goals, and what she believes and what we believe in the office. And so that was it.
And what were some of those goals? What were those talks like? What was it like to, kind of transition into that again? But what are those talks like? How do you bring somebody on what do you tell them? And not the specific conversation, but if you're focusing in chiropractic and you want to add some medical to your practice or under your umbrella, what are you looking for? What do you tell somebody that you want?
So basically try to figure out what their thoughts are first, as far as what they expect, because if they think it should be run one way, it's not even worth the conversation.
Yeah.
There were several of those conversations, finding the right person.
What kind of services were you trying to add to your portfolio or under the office?
Just the medical side.
Okay.
We do regenerative medicine as well, and regenerative therapy and for muscles, tendons, joints. And, if the medical provider wants to go more medical and not open to, more holistic approach to
wellness.
things, then it's not gonna mesh at all.
Gotcha. So that's the direction that y'all decided to go into.
Yeah. So when you can find someone like the two ladies that I have are willing to bring in holistic and traditional medicine and just focus on the patient and their overall wellness, that's a big home run.
Yeah.
So
and that's
what we did.
It's crazy what's going on in the medical world these days, and with prescription drugs and just people prescribing shit to really just tear people up.
Yeah.
It's the holistic approach. It's nice to see that getting more popular and coming back around over the last couple years. And it's really nice to see y'all going in that direction. So tell me about the family that you have at the office now. Who all are you working with? Who all's there? What services are y'all providing?
So we have myself, chiropractic, sports therapy, physical medicine, rehab. We have our nurse practitioner. She does all the aesthetics, the cool sculpting, regenerative medicine. Same with our medical provider.
What's next for the company? What's next for Creekside Integrative Medicine Center?
Well,
what's the next move? I know we've talked about all kinds of stuff. I know you're doing a lot of stuff with sports. I know y'all get back to the communities. You're coaching, I think, right now still. Anything else going on?
Adding more services to the office. We do aesthetics, Botox, Juvederm, filler, IV therapy is next.
So y'all are doing all that now?
Yeah. So
or are you about to start adding it? Or
we're already adding that. We're already doing that now. IV therapies will be next.
So when did all this start? How long ago? Because you went from chiropractic to adding some medical type stuff to help your clients.
Yeah.
At what point did you start transitioning into the
more weight loss, wellness? Over the past year now.
So this is all recent.
6 months really kind of digging into it. So
what do you like most? What's your favorite? Are you starting to lean more away from chiropractic, or is that still your
No,
baby?
Because that's still my baby. But the medical team is great. I mean, Heather, our nurse practitioner, she's amazing. I was able to find two medical doctors who believe in total body wellness versus just pills.
Yeah.
And so having those two ladies on staff is like a godsend. It's just perfect, They'd rather see someone heal naturally as opposed to giving medication.
Sure.
And Heather's wonderful at the aesthetic side. So she does awesome.
And so that's where the filler and Botox.
Yeah, the filler, the Botox.
All that comes into play. So it's all under one roof now.
All under one roof, yeah.
Really cool. All right, out in Friendswood.
Yeah.
So what's next that's not on the current list? Anything in the near future?
No, just IV therapy.
IV therapy.
Yeah, that's it.
Cool.
For now. Yeah.
Well, cool, boss. Well, I appreciate you coming in today.
Yeah.
You got to get the wife back in here
Definitely.
after she gets done with her stuff. If y'all are looking to get into the chiropractic business or total wellness business, I guess all around body, Dr. Gabor is an open book. He's always there to help people. If you got any questions, reach out to him. If you need any chiropractic needs in the Friendswood area, give him a shout. Appreciate y'all tuning in. This is an episode of The Grit. We got Dr. Gabor here, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
All right. Thank you.